Hello guys, my name is the Blown Tire, otherwise known as Will, and today I'm bringing you some Battlefield 3. I'm bringing you some gameplay using the IFVs. I may refer to them as the LAVs, partly because I'm used to using and calling them out, announcing them in games LAVs, even though they are technically IFVs, and they are not always LAVs. They're sometimes the Russian variant, which I'm not too sure about because I'm prepared for this commentary. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. This is going to go well. So to start off, your loadouts that you use for the LAV really should depend on what maps and modes you are playing. So for example, if you're playing Rush on CN Crossing, this is a basic example. There isn't going to be any enemy vehicles. Instead, all they are going to have are Cornet launchers. So you need to adapt to that. You could either try and eliminate them first, or you could just try and avoid them completely. What I usually use on CN Crossing is the LAV. Obviously, I'll try and get in one, and I'll prefer using the proximity scan on CN Crossing due to the fact it's quite compact, quite close quarters, and you may see some people with LAVs, or not LAVs, C4 or mines, for example, trying to come up behind you, or someone repair tooling you. Just having that little bit of spatial awareness is valuable in CQC. However, in a more open environment, such as Capture the Flag, which you're going to be seeing throughout the gameplay, that's more open and it's not all enclosed. So therefore, I've decided to use reactive armor purely because, obviously, there are going to be tank shells as well as the enemy LAV, which means I've got to adapt to the appropriate threats. For my middle gadgets, that really varies. If they are using javelins and other lock-on weapons, I'd recommend using the IR smoke. That purely acts as sort of the flares, so to speak. If you are familiar with anti-air, well, with flying air vehicles, they have flares, countermeasures. This is perfect. The IR smoke's like the appropriate countermeasure, and that's perfect if you are getting locked on. However, if there are no lock-on weapons really, I'd pick either the other two choices are zoom optics or thermal optics. Personally, I prefer thermal optics, as therefore you can see a lot clearer at longer range because you can see smaller parts of the enemy, and therefore you can adapt and aim towards the appropriate area. Zoom optics work if you're trying to do some longer range work, but since I believe the LAV should be put in sort of a closer environment regarding objectives, I personally use thermal optics or smoke, as I've been discussing earlier. And the final gadget is your other weapon. So when you first get the LAV, if you've never used it, you get just a cannon. That's useful. To be fair, it is quite useful. I use it a lot. And then as you progress through the unlocks, you get different weapons, and they vary from a light machine gun. They have light machine guns, heavy machine guns, and then some other explosive shells, as well as a tow launcher. I personally use the highly explosive shells, as well as the anti-personnel shells. The reason why is you can load off on vehicles 12 shells instead of only 6 if you don't have it attached. And at the end of the day, you can usually, if you're good with the LAV and the turret, you can disable a vehicle with the first 6, and then with the second 6 from the other weapon you can destroy it. At the end of the day, you can eliminate 12 with 12 rockets. You can eliminate an LAV, and as you're going to be seeing here, I'm having a battle with the LAV over the bridge. I started off moving a bit closer, and also you've got to gauge bullet drops. I remember the projectiles from the turret do drop according to range, and you see, I can't see that with 12, maybe 15, I managed to destroy the vehicle and get a kill. Simple as. Prevented their LAV from moving up, and now I can push right to the objective and try and secure a successful perimeter to eliminate enemy infantry within the warehouse. Coming back to my previous point, heavy machine guns can also work on infantry. CN crossing, for example, that'd benefit. Guided shells also available, but I very rarely use that. I mean, I only use that if it's, for example, armoured kill. I'm not too sure if you can get LAVs on armoured kill, because I haven't played armoured kill in a really long time. Yeah, the lack of information is not benefiting me here. And yeah, use it wisely, and bear in mind that the LAVs can carry you and 5 other people with one other person acting as using a light machine gun, I believe, or a heavy machine gun. I'm not too sure. I've done loads of research on this, and that can protect you if you're trying to get away from an infantry threat. You can have you watching the front if you're driving, and then you can have your passenger if you're doing some comms with them, watch your back, because then you can adjust, and then you have sort of a nice watchful eye. What makes a good LAV driver is someone that utilises their weapons that they've equipped, utilises what they know about the actual LAV, doesn't act greedy with it, and don't try and think it's the best weapon or best vehicle on the game, because it doesn't have all the armour in the world. Reactive armour benefits that, but at the end of the day you may be stuck with something else which you may not like, and you've got to deal with it. Thank you very so much for watching. Leave a like and a comment down below if you've appreciated my video. I want to see how many of my subscribers actually watch my videos, see how interesting that is, and see if some of my subscribers are dormant and not actually watching my videos. Also, if you have any suggestions and want any guides on how to use or how to do a certain role or a kit or a gun, leave it down in the comments below. That would be great. My next weapon review will be coming out soon. It is the PDWR. I actually managed to get some gameplay for that, which is absolutely superb. So yeah, thank you very so much for watching, and I'll see you next time out on the battlefield.